Cooking, folks.
Welcome to the first Supercoach Take podcast for 2020. It's a new podcast and very excited for it. It'll be available on YouTube and various other streaming services, so we're excited for that. Those will be in the description. Joining me as always, partner in crime, Anno. How are you, mate?
Jaws, what's going on, mate? Ready for a big year?
Can't wait. I've been thinking about Supercoach since November, I reckon, so really excited to get started this year.
Yeah, well, you're not into the BBL, are you, mate? So
no, I've got no idea. So the Discord, we're all doing, you guys are doing NFL, NBA, and BBL fantasy. So that's keeping you guys going. So the Discord has been pretty active, which is really good. So that you guys can join that. Feel free to if you're interested in other fantasies. But right now we're gearing up for AFL Supercoach. So today we're going to discuss the defenders. And I really like the defense this year. I think there's a lot of good options. It's really hard to pick, I think, because a lot of players are sort of like for like in what they can average, I think. Firstly, I think we're going to discuss structure. So we'll go to structure and then we'll discuss individual premiums. So at this stage, it's still a lot of water to go under the bridge, but nonetheless, we can discuss our thoughts right now. So structure, how many premiums in defense are you thinking about?
They're pretty good this year. So at the moment, I've got 3. That includes Daugherty. So I mean, I guess we sort of count him as one because we think he'll average those sort of numbers. But yeah, I've got my team set up. I've got Lloyd, Houston, and Daugherty, and then straight into Hayden Young. So obviously it depends on rookies, which we have no idea at this stage. But yeah, so I've got 3 at the moment. How about you?
I like that structure. I think Daugherty, I have 3.
Yeah.
I'd be happy to go 2 or 4, depending on how it goes. In previous years, past 2 years, I've had 1 premium defender.
Yeah, you went really light, didn't you, last year?
Zach Williams was my D1.
Yeah.
Brodie Smith at D2. It worked okay. It was a little light, but I don't think I can do that this year. There's a lot of players at a decent value, and the rookies aren't looking too deep. But as you said, I will look at that deeper into the preseason. So my D1 and D2, it's going to be 2 of Lloyd, Houston, and Sicily, and possibly Zach Williams if I can afford him. But I already have enough GWS players, and I have Daugherty at D3. So I like the 3. So they're not too expensive, and so that's what I'm running with at the moment. I'm spending a lot in them elsewhere, so for that reason, I find it hard to spend too much in defense.
Yeah.
So now we can. Anything else to add?
I was just going to throw Daniel in there as well. I'm pretty set on Lloyd and Daugherty, obviously, because he's pretty much a lock. But Daniel's my other one. It's just the cash. Obviously, we'll see how it works out. But I like Houston, but obviously there's a bit more to see with him. But we'll get to him later.
Yep. So we'll discuss all those players a bit more in depth. So we'll get straight to the premium defenders now. And we'll go from most expensive to least expensive. Number 1 is the great Seagull. It's very painful not having this guy in your team and watching him play. So Jake Lloyd, priced at $594K. I'm not starting Jake Lloyd. I think that obviously the reason is Dawson kind of took his points, as Freako pointed out on Twitter last year.
Yeah.
So Dawson moved it back to halfback, and that hurt Lloyd's numbers. He averaged under 100 for the back half of the year, which is not good because a lot of us waited for him to drop, and he dropped to 600K and just
gave you nothing.
Ended up finishing below 500, I think. So he's just too high priced, and that's all we know at this stage. But nonetheless, very reliable, very durable, and definitely a priority upgrade target. How do you feel about Jake Lloyd?
Yeah, I agree with all that. I'm not starting him either. Just pretty much based off the price and all the good value elsewhere. So, I'm with you on that one. We'll just, and again, his role from that back half, see what happens with Sydney. We're not sure, where Dawson's going to play yet. So, I'm staying away.
So Dawson does his ACL? I don't mean that. I hope he doesn't. I know. Hope to God no. What do you start Jake Lloyd?
Maybe. Yeah, I reckon I'm. Oh, the price though, it's just almost 600k is just way too much. You have to change around your forward line probably.
Have to get
That
led to him.
Yeah, and that just depends on the rookies again, doesn't it? So yeah, I'd still say no.
Okay, fair enough. I'd probably be yes,
Yeah.
but I won't go through too many hypotheticals. But you never know. Just interesting.
Yeah.
So we'll get to the next two players, and I've grouped them together because they are old,
Yes.
and by old I mean 30s. So Hooley and Hearn. Shannon Hoon is done for me for good after last year. He's been as soon as a 30, I think he's 30, 31, maybe 32, I'm not sure. As soon as he starts picking up soft tissue injuries at that age, I'm out, I'm not interested.
Yeah.
Although Hooley was injury prone, Hooley was very durable early in his career. Then the past few years he's been injury prone, and then last year I'd almost call it an outlier for
Well,
Hooley.
he did get an injury early in the round one game.
Okay, yeah.
And then missed the next three. But then once he came back, he averaged like 105, 6 or something for the last 16 games or something. And I never had him because I was always worried about his injuries. But yeah, we'll see.
So not interested in starting either of those two or anything else to
No.
add on those?
I agree with you. Over 30, and just both of them just going to pick up injuries here and there. And again, their price, because of they had such good years last year. 570 and 560 for both of them. Again, better value a bit down the line.
Agree. I think Hooley was still playing good, while Hearn I think declined a lot.
In the back
I
half,
don't. Yeah. So I don't know if he continues that decline, but yeah, just based on the second half of the year, Hooley looked a lot better than Hearn. But yeah, no to either at this stage, or no first as starting picks anyway.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Next we have Zach Williams. I'm really interested in this player. The injury niggles do get on my nerves with Zach Williams, but I think he has another gear in him, and because he had the Achilles injury, so now he's having a really good preseason from reports. I think that they said he was fitter than last year, which not the best, not always a reliable indicator, but a very good sign. Should play off the halfback. But yeah, I really like Williams. 550 is not too bad. He was scoring pretty heavily in the back half of last year. I think he finished as the most expensive defender. And I think he could be the number one defender. So I don't mind Zach Williams. I have two other GWS players, which is already stressful enough. So I'm not sure if I want to add a third, just because of the injuries and I don't know, not reporting injuries properly, but whatever. So what are your thoughts on Zach Williams?
Yeah, his price is, I guess, for his capabilities, it's not actually that bad. But that, like you said, he finished the year really well, and I think it was because they had a few injuries and he played a bit of mid-time. But yeah, I like him a lot. I definitely want him on my team at some point. But like right now, as I said, with the starting team, just again because the price is just that little bit, too much. I can't seem to find it with how my team's set up with all those expensive mids. So definitely want him in my team at some point. But starting him, I'm not in my team at the moment.
That's fair. If I somehow have extra funds, I think I'll start Williams.
Yeah.
I just feel something probably goes wrong with him at some point, and then you pick him up cheaper. I mean, that's just guessing and luck, but it's happened quite a lot with him in the past.
Yeah, there's still history in that, so yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, nothing wrong with the pick. I like the pick a lot, but yeah, just need to get him in at some stage. So we'll wait and see on Williams, see how his preseason goes. Next we have Helmet, also known as Caleb Daniel.
He's too small.
You like this pick. I'm not sure, but do you want to start talking about young Helmet?
Yeah, well, I'm not sure. You remember last year when he sort of started off pretty well, and I wanted to get him in early. Not like people weren't too sure if he's going to keep it up or whatever. I got him in. Then obviously picked up that hamstring, which was really annoying because I was getting low on trades and had to move him on. But
did you have him for both? So did you have him for both hamstrings?
No, just the second one, the last one, which pretty much ruled him out for the year. For the Supercoach season anyway.
He missed the final as well. Anyway,
Yeah,
sorry, go on.
right.
Sorry for interrupting there.
All good. No, so yeah, his role's just perfect. Like, looking up his stats the other day of like his kicks. He only ever had like 10 kicks a game for these first three seasons, and then as soon as he got into that role, he averaged like 17 point something kicks a game. Like short little kicks, hits the target. He rarely misses target. He does take a couple of risks, but like you like that in a player. Because he does, like, he gets them off most of the time. He just plays a perfect role. Like if someone kicks a lot and hits targets, and they're not sort of your short backwards, he's like actually bringing it out of defense as opposed to, side to side. It just scores well. Like his ceiling might not be as high as others, but his floor is pretty high too. So he's never going to really hurt you. He's always just going to get, around that 100 mark, which I believe he can average pretty easily. So yeah, he's pretty cheap too. 537, whatever he is a pretty good price. So yeah, I'm tossing up between him and Lloyd, I think, at the moment.
Okay. I don't like this pick. I don't know why. I think it's just more of a gut thing.
Yeah.
I think, look, he's only really played at halfback. This is his second season training as a halfback flanker. So
yeah,
you can definitely obviously improve off that. So definitely he can improve. I don't know why I don't like this pick. Just quickly, he's got this 2 terrible tattoos on his arm. It's like a lizard or something. I'm like, what is that? Like, I don't know. This is embarrassing, but I don't know. I'm just not feeling this pick. I just think the 2 hamstrings got on my nerves a lot.
Yeah, that's true.
Because I think he did one of them just trying to kick too far. I think he'll learn from that though. Yeah. That's just very concerning. So for me, he's a no. I definitely think he can be a good pick. It's pretty much lined up to be a good pick, I think, though. But highly doubt his role changes because they want him there. They want the ball in his hands. He's one of the better users of the ball in that team.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to skip Helmet. I'd rather just pay a bit more for Williams.
Yeah.
But
I mean, you can always pick him up if he's going all right later on.
Yeah, he has those games where he can just get 40 touches.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure, like, is he going to start hitting that number, hitting 40 touches more often, sort of thing? Because he should improve, really. But we'll wait and see how it goes over the preseason. But nothing wrong with the pick, really.
Yeah.
So next we have Tom Stewart, 534k. For me, ceiling isn't high enough just because of his role. What are your thoughts on Stewart?
He's sort of similar to Helmet in that they do like him using it out of the back line, but he does get those other points sort of from intercepts. So I'm not picking him. He's just he's a bit of a bland pick to me. As he's a great player, don't get me wrong. But I think for Supercoach, there's like you said, his ceiling's not huge. Like there's we're going to get to another couple of blokes below him in price in a sec, but yeah, it's around that price. I think there's better options.
Yeah.
Although I did have him last year, so I did have him for a bit, and he was pretty good. But
his back half wasn't as good as the first half of the year.
Yeah.
I feel like he was averaging like high 80s, low 90s in the back half of the year.
Yeah.
So that's not what we want. So I see other players with higher ceilings. So maybe later in the year when he's between 450 and 480k, you can pick him up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I prefer other options at this stage. So we have the next one, Rory Laird. Been a staple in pretty much our teams for the past few years. I really like this pick. I think I hear people say, I think it was 2018 where he averaged 108. A lot of people say that is an outlier. I don't think he'll reach those heights again. I think he can get close to it though. He's a very good player. He's pretty durable. Very consistent, like really, really high floor. Very rarely do you see him put a bad game in, statistically.
Yeah.
I feel like the Crows were, as a collective, I think just morale was down and it felt like no one wanted to defend. People were just, I don't know if they weren't playing for the coach or whatever, but it just felt everyone was just subpar. And I think right now, Matthew Nix has got the Crows, he's training a high tempo game style, so a lot of fast ball movement. very important for that.
Yep.
I just felt Laird was making a few more mistakes out of defence, and if you watch the Crows play, the movement was just terrible, their ball movement. So a lot of it was pretty stagnant, and we'd get scored against the other way too easily. So like Laird individually, I haven't heard much about him. You generally don't hear much about him in the preseason. He's just doing his thing. I still think, I'm thinking 95 to 103-ish, somewhere in between there for Laird this year. I think with the new coach, I expect a bit more from him. But yeah, I think it's a pretty safe selection, and he's going to have that role down there. I think he'll improve slightly on this year, but yeah, not reach the heights of 2018. So any thoughts on Laird?
You know more than me, and you summed it up pretty well. He's just got that role that he gets a lot of touches too. Like, it's not, your 20s or whatever. He gets 30 like very often, which just means naturally his floor is going to be a lot higher, like you said. So yeah, he's in my team at the moment. Don't really see him moving. He's just safe. He's just, such a safe pick. So yeah, I like Rory at the moment for sure.
Possibly a tad overpriced. Probably be able to get him for 500, but nonetheless, I think it's fine.
Yeah.
Definitely like the pick. So next we'll talk about James Sicily. A lot of hate for this bloke. Kind of stressed out a lot of people last year. Still played okay though. I'm thinking about Sicily. There's just some unease about picking him when there really shouldn't be, because he's been pretty good for the past 2 years.
Yeah.
And I think if you take the 2 games where he played forward out in 2019, his average is probably around 97-ish.
Yeah.
So obviously with Sam Frost coming in, that opens up Sicily to play off his man a bit more. So not take the second or first best defender.
Yeah.
He still takes kickouts. I assume he will. So there's points there. I do like this pick, and 509k. There's definitely upside for this pick, because I think last year, the first few games he hovered around the almost 600 mark, I think.
Well, he started at, I'm looking at it now, 570, and then he had a great start to the year. Average definitely looks like around 105 to 110, or 105 maybe. But yeah, he was like 560 for a lot of that, and then obviously after the bye, he just dropped below 500 and was 491. That's when we all jumped on, and then he played forward and put in like a 40 and a 60, and yeah, it was doing everyone's head in. But he's super talented, great kick. Everyone always on the worry of suspension and like him being a hothead and everything. But yeah, he's just too good a value to not start this year, or at least consider pretty heavily.
Yeah, for sure. I think he just makes it look easy when he's out in defence. Every time he destroys the Crows every time we play him. Oh. It's like we think he's a key forward. We just kick it to him.
He reads it so well. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And in preseason, I haven't heard much about him yet, but everyone's just kind of first week back in preseason for 2020. I think for most teams this week, but he pretty much tears up intra clubs.
Yeah.
Pretty much every time. So definitely considering this pick. He was on his best behaviour as well. He didn't get suspended.
Yeah, played every game. So.
And if he does, it's probably a 1 or 2 week. It's not going to be a Barry Hall thing or anything.
Yeah.
But just little things. So fine pick, Sicily. But yeah, I think he's in my team at the moment. So yeah, highly considering him. So the next player, actually, we'll go to Dicey Burne-Jones quickly. He's 473k. This is a pick. I think he was the second highest averaging defender in 2019 in the second half of the year. I think no one really took notice. So it's a bit hard to comment on this one. But the only thing I saw was his numbers. He was only averaging that much without Burton in the team. So I'm thinking logic says that with Burton back in the team, those numbers will drop back to the 80s. So one to monitor over the preseason, but for that reason purely, I'm not interested. And the next player we can go about who's getting a bit more attention is Dan Houston, 484,000. Expected to play more midfield. I know he definitely wants to play more midfield. In an interview, he said that. And just adds a bit of a different dynamic to that midfield. Beautiful kick of the ball and pretty reliable player. Seems to have a high floor, which is good for Supercoach. So, any thoughts on Dan Houston?
Yeah, you're right. Like you said with the floor, it's just it is really dependent on that role. I think he didn't really put any stinkers in last year, even in defence. He had a 67, but everything was sort of 80-ish plus, which is not amazing, but it's he doesn't, like you said, put in the real bad games. But yeah, then when he was playing that mid, he put in like 3 or 4 tons in the last few games. So I think I want to start him, but I also want to know his role. Maybe we can get an indication of that in pre-season, obviously. So we'll wait for that. But I like him. Definitely on the radar.
Yeah, I think I'm worried that if Port get an injury in defence, he goes back to defence, and he still scores. Yeah. He still scores fine in defence. I'm not.
It's not terrible, but yeah.
Yeah, it's not. I think it's high 80s, maybe low 90s ish, but we want more than that. In the midfield, he can probably go 100, probably.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely like Dan Houston. But yeah, highly considering him. I think it's one thing to train in the midfield for the preseason. It's another to actually get that role. I remember Bailey Williams for the Dogs last year trained the whole preseason in the midfield, and I don't think he got a look in the midfield at all with the Dogs.
Round
midfield.
One, he's just like half back or something, or
pretty much straight back into. He said that he didn't train. Yeah, I think he played defense in round 1, and he said that he didn't even train with the defender group. And round 1, he was in defense.
That's just Bevo, though, isn't it?
Oh, that's classic Bevo.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll keep an eye on Houston. But I do like the pick. 484, saving a bit of money as well. And next we have Jordan Dawson, who's a defender forward, 467,000. This is a player I didn't take much notice of last year. The only thing I can really comment on this is, first of all, we don't know exactly his role. We assume it's going to be a long halfback, continuing last year, but we don't know because he's a very capable forward. I think he kicked nearly 20 goals up forward, something like that. So that's pretty good. And the only thing, just doing some research on him, he was basically saying that his work ethic has lifted. Like last year, he lifted it. Like before that, he knew it wasn't up to standard. So he's put in the work. Just a little, like especially at the highest level, little things like diet and whatever make a big difference.
Yeah.
So that's a very good sign. But again, definitely one to monitor over the preseason, and that defender forward flex with Hill will be really nice as well. So yeah, one to watch. Any thoughts on Dawson?
Yeah, like you said, one to watch. Like his scoring sort of ramped up the back half of the year, which, like we said, everyone knows hurt Jake Lloyd a bit, but it'd be a gutsy start. I think like you just don't know what's going to happen with those two, so you'd have to be pretty confident. Which, like you said, we can only sort of gain from the preseason, and not on my team for now, but yeah, if it pans out, it'd be a great pick for sure. But yeah, preseason, just going to wait and see where he's playing, what he's doing, and but no, he looks a good player. He's got a beautiful left boot, and like you said, he kicked a few goals from like outside 50 and stuff like that, which I always like. But we'll wait and see with him.
Yep. And finally, we have Sam Daugherty. Not priced as a premium, but you treat him as a premium. Yeah. You're not picking him as a stepping stone or anything.
No.
So Sam Daugherty, 436,000.
Do we need to say much more?
Yes, because he's done 2 ACLs.
I know.
So I think,
yeah.
Well, here's the thing: he's with Newman and Simpson. So Simpson kind of fell off a little bit, and Newman was
really good. Yeah.
So we'll watch them over the preseason. I know, look, if starting without Daugherty and him scoring anywhere near what he used to, and you're in trouble if you start without him. So I think, for now... Sorry, go on.
I was just going to say, even for like 100 average for his prices, like you're not asking for his... I mean, what was he averaging those 2 years? Like 110 plus, wasn't it? So
I think it was 120, and then the last few games he dropped off, so it dropped back to about 115, 116.
Okay, yeah. I mean, unreal. We're not expecting that, but at this price, you just want 100 plus sort of thing. And yeah, like you said, it'd be gutsy not to start him.
For those that didn't play, he was pretty much Jake Lloyd before Jake Lloyd.
Yep.
So, yeah, I think right now, I think he should be in everyone's plans. Just chuck him at D3 or whatever, with D4. So, yeah, definitely like Daugherty. Training without strapping on, not that that means much, but like with this sort of player, I sort of look into how he's recovering from the injury, because that's really the only reason not to play him, not to pick him really.
Yeah.
So apparently been overseas, done a lot of strengthening, dropped a bit of weight. So it sounds like he's doing everything right, doing what they told him overseas. So yeah, just pick him for now, and hopefully he stays fully fit.
Yep.
We can talk about two more players who are mid-prices.
Yes. Yep.
We'll go to Duday and Robertson. I think we'll start with Duday. 273k, something like that. I'm not understanding this pick at all.
Yeah.
I like Duday. I think he's future captain of the Crows. Unbelievable player. Did it over time in the SNFL. But he's not a premium, and he's coming from an ACL. He's also had a minor hamstring issue, which I can't find any info on, but I swear I saw that on the news about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So I think the only reason to pick this is if the defender rookies are complete duds. So yeah, I'm not sure about Duday.
He just doesn't have that role either, though, does he?
No, he's not a
Supercoach
premium.
friendly. Yeah. So what's he like? You could just get stuck in that awkward position if he just hovers around like 270, 300, and yeah, you'd just be wasting the trade getting rid of him. I don't see the upside.
No. Yeah, he's not going to make as much. Look, I think at maximum he makes 120k.
I was going to say 100,
maybe 130. And you want more from that from your rookie. You want them to make more.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure. If the rookies are completely rubbish, I'll maybe look at it. But again, you're picking him as a stepping stone, and I prefer to avoid stepping stones if you can, just because they generally don't make as much money as rookies. But there is
trades, as well.
Yeah. Yes. So there is value in the fact that he ain't gonna he's not gonna well, he's definitely best 22. Yeah. Unlike rookies. So there's value in that, and yeah. He's probably a safe 70, 75. I think he averaged 80 in his first year that he played in. But coming from an ACL, it affects your confidence, especially because you're in the air a lot playing the intercept role or the third tall sort of thing. So,
yeah.
I'm not even sure he starts round 1, to be honest.
Well, how's he even going, with the injury?
I think he's going okay. He's definitely not in full training.
Okay, yeah.
So,
it's a no for me.
It's a big ask for him to come in and average over 75 off an ACL, especially in a role that's not the most Supercoach friendly, because he'll play on his man a fair bit. But yeah, beautiful player to watch, and yeah, not for me.
Yep.
Now, Devlin Robert, it's pretty simple, this one. Monitor how his heart's gone. I do like this pick. He's currently not in my team just to free up a bit of cash to fit in some extra rookies, high-priced rookies. Like I think they're raving about Starkovich and stuff like that. So to fit him in, I needed to downgrade Robertson.
Yeah, I've got him too. Yep.
So when he was playing, he was pretty good. Probably, I think he was almost the Saints' best player.
He's a gun.
I think it was 2-3 years ago. 2-3 years ago, yeah. So
it's a shame, really.
And he was looking good in the preseason in 2019 until he had that one hiccup. So, I'm not sure. It's just hard because he has one. It is pretty demanding playing AFL, especially because you just take a lot of hits and stuff. And I don't know. It's just hard to see.
Just risky,
to know if he's okay or not. And is he going to be back to his back to his best sort of thing, or close to it. Because I think you pick him as a stepping stone. You want him to average. His ceiling is higher than Dude, no doubt about that.
Oh yeah.
So I think there was actually talk last year of people were saying that if the Saints had like an injury down back, then Robertson wouldn't play the loose role anymore. Which we didn't have to worry about that because Robertson had to take the year off. So I'm pretty sure. So the Saints have Howard now. So I assume Howard will take that key defender role, which would allow Robertson to play. Because they have Wilkie as well. So that means that Robertson can play he can play loose.
Yeah.
So that's a good sign. So he should have the role. No reason he shouldn't have it. So keep an eye on Robertson's health. But yeah, if he gets through all the match sim, JLT's fine, no hiccups or anything. I think I might pick him.
I mean, yeah, what do you need him to play? 6 to 8 games with a decent average, and then you can sort of flip him around the time of the buys, Obviously, pray nothing happens to him, but, if you can get 2 months of footy in, it would have probably done the job for you and been a good pick. But, yeah, let's see how he goes.
Yep, so I think that's everyone for today.
Yep.
Soon we'll do a midfielder, and we'll do midfielder and rucks together. Rucks are kind of interesting, I think, but it's pretty.
Yeah.
It's a few other options other than Gordon and Grundy, but I think we're all going to end up going Gordon and Grundy anyway. And then the forward line as well. So forward line is not looking too crash hot.
That's the hardest, yeah.
Oh yeah. I actually think defender's kind of hard, just picking who to pick at D1 and D2 because there's so many options.
Yeah, it's not like it's like because there's too many, whereas the forward line's like there's not any at all. Yeah, you really want to nail the defender ones early, the good averaging ones, but it's going to be tough to get that right.
So thanks for joining me, Enno. Pleasure as always.
Good, mate. Yep, looking forward to a big season.
Yep, so we'll do more of these podcasts, and we'll do them during the season as well. So the preseason ones, we'll just go over some topics or some players, and then during the season, we'll do reviews and all that sort of stuff. So can't wait for that. And we'll get a few guests on as well, so it should be fun. Awesome. Anyway, we'll see you next time, and have a good week, mate.
Yeah, you too. See you, mate.